What's going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the ZTV Sports Report. On this week's episode, we'll be taking a look at the women's volleyball game against Central Michigan and the women's basketball game against Bowling Green. On top of that, we'll be taking a look at the men's basketball game against Bowling Green and the women's basketball game against Miami of Ohio. After that, we'll be wrapping up the show by playing Guess That Zip. So stay right here because the ZTV Sports Report starts now. Welcome back to the spring 2021 semester of the ZTV Sports Report, your home for everything Akron Zips athletics. I'm Nico Weathers. The Zips volleyball team took on the Central Michigan Chippewas, but weren't able to pull off the win, losing the series 3-2. Let's take a look at some of the highlights.
The Zips volleyball team's first game against Central Michigan University was certainly an exciting one to watch. Although it may not look like it right now, the Zips were able to keep this series very close. The amount of blocks and spikes in this game were honestly insane. In the first set, Jen Dura led the Akron Zips with 3 kills. Of the 15 points that the Zips scored in the first set, 10 of them came from kills. Unfortunately, that wouldn't be enough for the Zips as they fell in the first set to Central Michigan 15-25. Unfortunately, the Zips continued to struggle in their second set of this series. The second series is where we really begin to see where all those blocks came from. But look at this beautiful play right here, with the block turned into a spike for a score. That's just the result of some great reflexes by the Akron Zips. Unfortunately, later in the second half is when CMU started to run away with it. CMU would go on to win Series 2 with a score of 25-18, putting Akron at an 0-2 deficit. Although it didn't look like it in the start of the third set, this is where the Zips would find life in the series. It was beginning to look like CMU was going to take control of this set as well, until a little bit short of the half, Akron finally figured it out. Leading the charge for the Zips this set was Megan Kelly, who was responsible for 4.5 points this set. Not to mention the blocks just kept on coming throughout this set. Soon enough, the Zips found themselves in the driver's seat with a score of 18-12, a whole 6-point lead. CMU almost came back, but the Zips took that set 25-20. The Zips had no plans of slowing down in the fourth set. That loss in the third set was also a wake-up call for CMU, who came out fighting. And as you can see, the blocks did not stop at the end of the third set. The fourth set was certainly a nail-biter. In fact, it was the most exciting set of the game. Both teams just refused to let up, each one scoring to match the other. Akron reached 25 points first, however they needed to win by 2 to take the set. CMU wouldn't let up though. Every time Akron scored, CMU would immediately follow up. Fortunately, the Zips were able to score 28 to CMU 6 off of a missed spike. The Zips were officially back in it, tying the series 2-2. Unfortunately, CMU had finally woken up and realized that they were in danger of losing this game. Unfortunately for the Zips, the final series is only played to 15, and before the Zips even realized it, CMU had scored 15 on them. It was a great effort for the Zips, no matter how you spin it. Reporting for the ZTV Sports Report, I'm Dante Tolsdorf.
That's certainly a tough loss for the volleyball team. Losing a winnable series with 2 wins to 3 is never a good feeling. There are certainly worse ways to lose though, and I have faith that the volleyball team will win more games going forward. It's about time we take our first break. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at the men's basketball team game against BGSU, and we'll be taking a look at the women's game against BGSU as well. Stay tuned. Welcome back to the show. Before our commercial break, we took a look at the volleyball team's tough loss to the Central Michigan Chippewas. Now we're going to take a look at the Zips' efforts against BGSU, starting with the women's basketball team. Let's see how the Lady Zips did.
Hello, and welcome to the University of Akron women's basketball team against BGSU, where we lose 79-64. Now, a consistent trend was BGSU getting points in the paint, where they were able to get 44 points in the paint out of their 79, which is more than half. But see, in the beginning of the game, Akron seemed to get a lot of backdoor cuts, where we actually led the game in assists 17-15 with a great turnaround jumper. Akron number 21, Mali Nitsu. And good assist right there out of our 17, actually led the game. Now, something that wasn't a consistent trend for Akron was made three-pointers. We only had 1 for 9 threes with a great backdoor cut and pass by KD Hempfling, who had 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. A nice point in the paint by her right there as well. As you can see, she was just able to dominate the paint throughout the entire game. This was a consistent trend with the fouls as well. But a great layup by Akron, you gotta love it. We had a lot of fight in this game. We was able to tie the game 5 times, but we never led the game, unfortunately. Another nice turnaround, Jay. And a great rebound. In fact, Akron only have 4 second chance points though, to BGSU's 11, but a great pass again. UA was killing it with the assist this game. And another good shot. We almost tied BGSU in points in the paint with 38. But as you can see, KD Hempfling was just too much for University of Akron in the paint. The halftime score of 31-41, where at this point BGSU was shooting a 55%, 15-27 shooting, to Akron's 14-32, 43%. As you can see, our second chance bucket. Great hustle by number 25, Jordan Dawson, who actually had a pretty okay game with 9 points, 8 rebounds, and 9 assists, with another assist right there. A nice shot, good and one. And a good steal. Another thing, points off turnovers, BGSU led 17-6. But UA with a nice point off a turnover right there. Akron with another made 3. So for the entire game, we actually shot 5 for 15. We only shot 1 for 9 in the first half. The 5 for 15 from 3. A good pass in the paint for another bucket. Another good shot by KD Hempfling. And another good layup by KD Hempfling. She was just able to get whatever she wanted in the paint this entire game. And a steal with a fast break layup, outblocked. But second chance points. Like I said, BGSU led the game in second chance points with 17. Also led the game in rebounding and led the game in free throws. I am Terrence Page, and I am signing off.
Losing to a conference rival certainly doesn't do the Lady Zips any favors. The Falcons played some excellent offense, but to be fair, so did the Zips. The Falcons were just a little hotter that night. Now, let's take a look at how the men's team did against the Falcons. The Zips came into this game winning 4 out of their last 5 games, while Bowling Green was on a 3-game winning streak. The game starts off with some excellent ball movement from the Falcons that ended up in them scoring a sidestep 3 from number 3, Caleb Fields. Akron's Lauren Kristen Jackson does what he does best and runs the pick and roll effectively with walk-on starter Enrique Freeman, which ends up in a 3-pointer from Jackson. The pick and roll has been really effective between Jackson and Freeman since Freeman was inserted into the starting lineup for the Zips. Akron has given up numerous offensive rebounds due to the size mismatch against the Falcons. It ultimately results in another Falcon score. Brian Trimble sets up the pick and roll with Freeman, earning himself a 3-point score. Man, the first half was a back and forth duo that was dominated by Akron's Lauren Christian Jackson and Enrique Freeman, with some clutch 3-pointers from Brian Trimble as well, as Caden Metheny and Caleb Fields from the Bowling Green Falcons heated up their scoring battle, adding multiple 3-pointers. Up with a miss from the Falcons, leading to a rebound from Macy Daly, followed by a score in transition. Enrique Freeman does it again, adding another block and rebound to his evening. After the block and rebound from Freeman, it seemed that the Falcons just had their way with the Zips for the remaining of the evening. They got to the basket with ease, and they also couldn't miss a 3, and it seemed like they also outworked. The Zips made a few surges later with a dunk from Cameron Reese and a 3-pointer from Lauren Christian Jackson, but that ultimately wasn't enough. The Zips ended up losing the game 83-71. The leading scorers on the night from the Zips was Lauren Christian Jackson, who scored 29 points while also fouling out late in the second half. No other Zip was in double figures scoring. However, the leading rebound night was Enrique Freeman, who had 9. Bowling Green's Anthony and Caleb Fields for 28 points on a hot shooting night. It was ultimately a shooting night for the Zips at 34.4% from the field and 25.9% from 3. They hope to recover and gain momentum for a MAC conference push and an NCAA tournament push later this season. Until next time, my name is Nico Weathers. That was yet another tough loss for the Zips. It has certainly been a tough few weeks for the sports lovers at the University of Akron. Every team does have their rough patches, and it looks like that is the case for the Zips athletic teams right now. Now it's time we take our second break. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at how the women's basketball team did against Miami of Ohio. Stick around. Welcome back to the show. The women's basketball team took on Miami of Ohio and were unfortunately defeated, losing the game 79-64. Now, let's take a look at the women's game against the Falcons.
Hello and welcome to another game by Akron against Miami University, where we actually won 84-63, led by our leading scorer Jordan Dawson with 21 points, 11 rebounds, and 4 assists. Now, number 54, Kelly Mclaughlin, was able to be one of the 2 players on Miami who was able to score in double digits, which also included number 24, Peyton Scott, with 27 points, 7 rebounds, and 4 assists. But Kelly Mclaughlin ended the game 12 points and 9 rebounds. Peyton Scott with another great layup. And then another great jumper. She was actually able to score pretty decently throughout this entire game, ending with 27 points. The leading scorer on her team. Kelly Mclaughlin with another shot from Peyton Scott. An assist from Peyton Scott, who actually had 4 assists this game as well. And another shot by Peyton Scott. And then another shot by Peyton Scott. In fact, University of Miami wasn't even playing too bad this game with 24 points in the paint, 9 fast break points, 7 second chance points, and 15 points off of turnovers. Now, Akron did lead in the points in the paint department with 40 compared to their 24, and also led with second chance points, and also led the game in total rebounds with 34 just to their 33. Led by Jordan Dawson, who had 11 rebounds, as you see right there with the put-back layup. And she was also able to dish it with 4 assists to a, well, not so open shot, but to a good shot. It was a good game in the first quarter, or the first half, with 6 ties and 5 lead changes. But Akron was able to pull away with our bench scoring 34 points compared to Miami's 14 bench points. And UA was also able to have 4 players in double digits: Jordan Dawson, Lane Farrell, Molly Neitzel, and Kendall Miller. We also led the game in assists, as you can see right there. We had 16 assists for the entire game, and also shot 8 for 17 from the three-point line. That's a nice field goal percentage from 3. Oh, missed with a rebound, offensive rebound. That's one of our 11 second chance points. And we ended the game 84-63, shot 18 for 27 from free throw line, and 29 to 54 total in the entire game. I am Terrence Page, and I am signing off.
That was a tough loss. It certainly has been a rough couple of weeks for the Zips. But I am sure it is just a coincidence, and we'll be reporting some wins on the next episode. But now, it's time to play everyone's favorite game, Guess That Zip. The current record holder on this semester is Terrence Page, who answered 8 questions correctly on the last show. With me, I have my friend, Michael Matthews, who will be answering 10 questions today in hopes of taking the record himself. Welcome, Michael.
Greetings. Thank you for having me.
All right, so let's get ready to go ahead and get this started. So question number 1. Which Zip had the most kills in Thursday's volleyball game against CMU?
Can I phone a friend or?
No.
Let me go with Shelly Fulmer?
No.
Maybe?
So it's Tegan Ochawa.
Okay.
So she had 14 kills, followed by Shelly Fuller with 12. So you were close.
Okay. So y'all can give me like 0.5 for that maybe?
No.
0.3?
I think I should be the record holder, but Terrence Page is the record holder.
Okay.
So question number 2. Who led in aces for the Zips?
Oh, of course, that's Emily Wigan. She's actually on the banner on the jar, so I have to know who that is.
Of course, correct. So now you 1 out of 2.
Should be 1.5.
No. Question 3. In the men's basketball game against BGSU, who led the Zips in points?
This is the easiest question of them all. This is the man I dub the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me, you know who? Lauren Christian Jackson.
That is correct. Now, what are some of your thoughts on Lauren? That's one of my favorite players to watch.
Yeah.
Honestly, he's a walking bucket.
Absolutely.
Walking bucket.
Lauren Christian Jackson absolutely needs to get drafted. I hope he goes MAC in terms of player of the year. I just think he is the most versatile player the Zips have had in a very long time.
At his stature, standing 5'8",
Yeah.
150 pounds, just pure scorer. The best pure scorer I've seen in college basketball, and there's no question about it. I'll give him the ball in any situation.
I think what's so interesting about Lauren is not only his ability to score, but his patience out there with the ball. In order to be a real playmaker or facilitator, you have to have the necessary patience, and he has that.
And now that they have Enrique Freeman, who's the walk-on,
Yeah.
a bunch of pick and rolls have been set. Like Christian scores with a bunch of pick and rolls, and it's just been pure. It's been a beauty to watch, guys, honestly.
I must say, with that BGSU game, Lauren and Enrique were trying to set a lot of pick and rolls up top, and getting the switches they wanted, but when he would drive and kick it, nobody was hitting that shot. So if nobody's there to help him out, I'm just not going to win. Simple as that.
It happens. There's a bunch of off days that goes
Yeah.
on. But question number 4. Who led the Zips in assists that game?
I feel like it's probably Lauren as well, Lauren Christian Jackson.
That man does everything.
Yeah.
He scores, he passes, defense, walking bucket. Question number 5. Who led the ladies Zips in points against BGSU?
This is a tough one because Jordan Dawson always scores the most points. but I think Molly went off that game.
She did indeed. She had 22 that game.
Okay, I wasn't even going to answer with Molly, but we're going to take that. So that's another W for me.
I'm sorry. Excuse me, sir. All right. Question number 6. Who had the second most that game?
Probably Jordan if Molly had the most.
That is correct. Jordan Dawson had 9 points. And with Jordan Dawson, too, I want to elaborate a little on her. Last year, as soon as she just got inserted as a freshman, true freshman, walking bucket.
Yeah.
It was just pure. It's a beauty to watch, like, honestly.
She drives to the rim with so much strength. It's really unbelievable to watch.
And nobody can stop her. Like, honestly, we were talking off air. I think if she had Shawnee Edmonds and they were a duo for 4 years, that'd be a beauty to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that BGSU game really didn't do her justice. She's been not really struggling as of late, but the team as a whole has been. I was saying Melissa Jackson, looking a little sad after that game. Hopefully she can turn things around for our Lady Zips.
All right, so the next question. Who was the winningest coach in the history of Zips basketball?
Since I work in the jar, I see this banner all the time. I know it's Keith something. So Keith starts with a D. That's all I know.
All right, so the answer is Keith Dambrot. I'm going to give you that one. I don't think you deserve it.
I absolutely deserve it.
All
Keith is not just a Michael or a Joe or a Bob. That's a name you have to remember.
I'm going to let it slide, all right? I'm just going to let it slide. So, next question. Who is the coach of the women's lacrosse team?
Do you know the answer to that?
This isn't about me.
Do you know the answer to that?
This isn't about me.
I don't think anybody. Do the people on the women's lacrosse team know the answer to that?
Well, it's Christy Mitchell, all right? Love lacrosse.
You could be lying to me. I would not know.
All right. Well, you didn't get that one, so there goes your record, sir. All right. Last question. Who was the former football coach for the Akron Zeus?
Before Tom Arth, so former. I promise I go to school here. Terry Bowden, I would say.
And that is correct.
Okay.
Also, the Zips winningest coach in the past 2 decades.
It's
Terry
not.
Bowden, he had his ups and downs. I'm happy we have Tom Arth. That's all I can say. Granted, I hope the wins come eventually, but I'm glad we have Tom Arth.
I think with Tion Dollar, he's going to take us there. He's going to get us those wins. I just know it. Tion is the special player that we've been looking for. I think once we get that quarterback situation figured out, we can finally look forward to some Zips football.
We did sign a 4-star recruit.
Yeah.
I don't know when he's going to be here, but we did sign a 4-star recruit. So it is something to look forward to. But it was a pleasure having you on, Michael.
Thank you.
You did not get the record.
I'm absolutely the record holder in my mind, and that's all that matters to me. So
I'm the record holder in my mind. However, Terrence still holds the record. But anyways, that'll do it for this episode of the ZTV Sports Report. Make sure you follow us at ZTV Sports Report on Facebook and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for all the latest Akron Zips scores and highlights. Signing off, I'm Nico Weathers. Go Zips.
This program was produced by ZTV at the University of Akron. Do you want to gain experience in video production, professional social media, or working with real clients? Visit the UA School of Communications online or follow us on social media to learn more. ZTV, make media, make a difference.